Dear students, welcome to this session. So we are going to talk about the AJAX. So we have seen the AJAX in full. It's just a synchronous JavaScript, JavaScript and XML. So now we are going to make a simple AJAX. So the role of AJAX, when you are making your web development, this will help you to make to load the content of the web page without to just call the web of the content of the web without just reloading the page. That is helpful because it helps you the web page to be very fast. So what is how is it done? This because I've said is done for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It just allows the web page to upload asynchronously by exchanging data with web server behind the scene. This means the part of the web page can be updated without loading the whole page. So in fact, this is the role of the AJAX in development. So it means just making your page very fast, and then this will update the web without loading the whole page. So now to do that, we are going to just do a demo. So which will have a HTML structure, which includes a div with a DOM that holds the content. Now a button that will trigger the function load. This function load, it is the one that is going to call the JavaScript. So now the JavaScript will contain the code of the AJAX request as the new object. So if you create this, we just start by creating the instance of the HTML request object for the modern browser. We just use the new XML request as a function. So for all version, then we use the callback to avoid different errors displayed. So now with the response, we can put different status. For instance, we can define a function for http.ready_state_change. So this will check if the request is completed. So if it is completed, it means ready state will be equal to false. Now it will also check if the status is successful. Now after this, if all these previous conditions are met, it will update the content of the div, which will be updated using what we call this.response.text. Now we have also the AJAX file. This AJAX file is just a simple text file that we have, and we need to load it on the web page using the AJAX. It contains some kind of content to load. For instance, we can put hello world or the big content you may need. This is file we are going to create it. Now, so how do we do this? To avoid what we call cross-origin resources sharing errors, so we should have our files in the server, in the same server, example like XAMPP in the localhost. So all the document will be put, for instance, in htdoc. I think this is the htdoc. The htdoc is the file that is in XAMPP. And then after putting them, if we finish to make our document, then we can just run them from the localhost, and then we can use this to access our content. So this is how we're going to do. So now let us start the practice. I think the practice is so you should have first of all your XAMPP installed. First of all, let me check if I have if I can have the XAMPP. For me, I just type define the XAMPP is already there. If I go to let's say for instance, if I go to desktop, if I click on Windows E, I can find, for instance, the local host the local disk, then I can find my XAMPP here. So whatever we are going to do, we just do it here in htdocs. So now htdocs, I can create, for instance, a file called to create a folder called, for instance, AJAX, that I'm going to put all the document. This is the AJAX I'm creating, and then I'm going to open another editor using we are using, for instance, Sublime. So now in Sublime I can just make the new file, and I say file, then I go and save as. So wait, it is going to save us, but while going to save us, I'm going to just go in my local disk, see in XAMPP, and then in XAMPP I will look for the htdocs. In htdocs is where I put my file AJAX, then I can call it, for instance, AJAX, let's call it AJAX demo.html. This will contain the all document of the html. Then I save it, and so I can have another file which is save. This is finished, and then I can start. Let's say have another file which is going to have our text. Then this will be called ajax text. Then this is what is going to have my text. Let me say for instance, this will be called, it will have the content. This is, let's say, it will have the content. This is my content updated from AJAX. So here you can put any text we need to write. So then I can save. So now let me go here in my document that hold the HTML, because this is finished with the AJAX text. Then I can find a new one. So I don't see very well where is it. So let me just open new file. That is the one I used maybe. So I just open new file, go to save as, then I say I go to local disk C, then I look for XAMPP. In XAMPP I go to htdoc, and then I go to html.text. Then I have also the other html.demo. So now I don't see it, the html.demo, but I can find it here in htdocs. Then I open it with Sublime with more, then I open it with more, then I make it with Sublime. So now this is my demo. I'm going to write now the HTML code as we started doing it. We start by, first of all, with this tag, as you know, with to define what kind of the document. Say doc type, define it as HTML, press enter. So if we start the HTML now, we just start our HTML. So do like this, everything come here and is closed. Then we have to give our content. This is the page. This is my AJAX. I think this is finished. Now let me zoom a bit. Then in the body, I'm going to put my content. Let me say, for instance, I have to put a div. Say a div that is open. Div that is open, and then let's say it is having the ID which is equals to, let's say, demo. Now this div, let's say it is looking like this, and inside the div we can put, for instance, the header, which is the H. Now we have to put it HTTP request. Let's say it is heading, which is HTTP request. HTTP request object, for instance. This is my heading, and then so from this div also we should have a button. So can have a button, for instance, let's say we are having a button. This button is of the type. The type should be equals to the button. But this one, I define the function that I click. So this will activate our function. This will activate our function. Load function. Load doc present. This is an example of the function. Then this function, it will happen. It will be loaded when I click. Then I close my button. But this button will be called, for instance, change content. Let's say using AJAX or this button is very big. Then I close my button. I say button. So now, so if I run this in browser, so I save this. See, now when you run this, it will bring something like here on request HTTP object, but this one doesn't come like button, so maybe it's having some issues. The issue should be here. This is not a button, but this one is just type button. Of the type button here, there shouldn't be a clause, but the button should look like this. I save again. So let me check if this can run in the browser. Yes, this one, you see that the button has come, but when I click, nothing happened. So that's why I'm going to use the JavaScript to make it functioning. So what do I do here? I just use the script, and then this is our script. So in our script, now we'll just define a function. So you know the function name we have here. Function name here is the one that we are going to use in definition. I can just copy the function. You know, in JavaScript, when you are going to define a function, you just say function. Then you put the function name. I just paste the function name. It's called road. This is our name. You know that to make it a method, I just put in a bracket. Then I open and close the braces. Then I put what the function will do. So now I have said, for instance, if now. So I'm going to define the condition now. If the object dot XML, this is the request XML, this is the XML, HTTP a request, do the HTTP request. If this one is a request of the HTTP, is XML HTTP request, then I will do what? So open and close the bracket. Then I will create the object. So now this is the building object that we are going to instantiate. This is the object that we are going to create the instance of this. I just say for instance, let's say for instance, but here I have to define, let me say for instance, this is X HTTP P, which is equals to, let's say it is new XML HTTP request XML HTTP request to new XML HTTP request, then I close. But you see this is a variable, so you should make it a global variable. Let me just define it here, and I say this is a variable, or you can use ret, but here we use var equals to x HTTP. This is our variable. So now this will create a new object, but if it is not like that, I can say Alice. So I can say Alice. I can say Alice. Then it will be next HTTP request. HTTP, which is equals to a new, then active, so it will activate the object. Let's let's say it will get it from this, which is dot, for instance, Microsoft dot XML HTTP. So put the double quote here. And this is the end of that statement. So now, after this, so we are going to check if this one is ready. So we just come here, check whether this is ready. Then I will check. Then I will check our object, which is HTTP. Mix HTTP to check whether it is ready. Then I say on ready. Ready state. Ready state change. Say change. It will just equals to a function. This is the function that I'm going to call. So what is in this function? I just say if, for instance, this select Windows dot ready state the ready state equals to false. So now this will be the ready, and put the ampersand, and this dot the status. What is the status of this? Dot status, it should be also okay. This is 200. So what will happen to this? I just put the other color, and I say I just have to display. It will give me something like document and dot get element dot element by ID. ID, then I use the reference to the page. The reference to the page was here to the is equals to demo. You can just copy it. This is the ID of the page. I use this, and I put what we go display. It will just display dot inner dot inner dot HTML. HTML, which is equals to this. It is equals to just this dot response text. Response text, that is the response text that is going to be displayed. So now this is our statement closed. Now the last is to just access our file, which is http dot open. It will open what? We just use the get method, which is get method. I will get the content from where? From, guys, from our file that is in AJAX. It's called ajax.text. Then I'm going to put here, it's going to open. It will get something from AJAX. We called it ajax.text, and then we put it to true. Then you should use the word send. Otherwise, if you don't send, it will not update. http dot send. So now let us run. So maybe in browser. So nothing will happen. I think to run this, guys, we need to just type localhost. I think we shall write like localhost. So I think what we have to do is to write our file. So I don't know. So is I don't know what's happening. Maybe is it this? So I write the localhost and I say the folder is AJAX. Then I access something inside which is AJAX dot I should run it and check. It's called demo, ajax.demo, ajax demo .html. If I run, it will be like this, and I get my file like this. So I don't see any change. Let me just write it, save it. If I load again, so in fact I don't see where that is bringing. So maybe this file is not opening. It's very difficult maybe to open. us see what is inside here. So let us for instance use this. This is savers. Name here. So maybe somewhere should be some mistake. I don't know. Let me check. Where is my sublime? Somewhere should be the mistake. So I say first if the windows dot else check http new check the http new. I say see there are some mistakes. Yeah, so let me just open this. I was saying I get it from AJAX. AJAX for a just say AJAX just slash HTML dot HTML. So now if I click, you see now this one is updating. So see now what we do is just going here in the localhost, then you write the file name, then when you click you just get the content. You see when I update I get this, but when I click you see it just bringing the content inside without updating. Guys, this is what I was just saying, but the hint is just having you should go and have the XAMPP. After having the XAMPP, you should have your XAMPP installed. Now you go here in XAMPP, and then in XAMPP you will find here, for instance, in localhost, going in XAMPP, you just put your document in HTTP docs. Now, but this one I didn't show localhost. This is localhost, and I say XAMPP HTTP docs. Everything should be here in HTTP docs. But to make it working, you should have your XAMPP. You should have your XAMPP Apache active. You should have this running. You should have. You see here, if it is not started, it means that this one will not run. Otherwise, it will have the error of calls, which is the correspond the cross origin resources sharing. So after having this, now you have your file saved in the same folder, then you can have everything. So now guys, I think this code, the well written code, I'm going to give them to you in short screen or in the file, so that we'll be writing them and running them. So guys, thank you very much. This is how you can make your your AJAX. You see that when you use it, it's just fast in recording the web code. So thank you very much for watching. Please try to make your own practice and trying to make some simple AJAX just calling from the text.